Welcome to the Barely Living Dread Girls podcast, where we like to get high and talk about horror movies. I'm Casey.
And I'm Jess. And we are continuing on with found footage fall.
Yay, we love that. Found footage, it's so fun.
And this movie, I know we were really both excited to watch and talk about. And this week we're covering The Visit.
Over the river and through the woods to Nana and Pop Pop's house we go, and some shit's gonna go down.
Go up, go in the shed, go all around. You just hang tight.
Even in your face a little.
Oh yeah, the shit is in your face in this movie.
It's okay, Nana's hot. So, this movie came out in 2015. It is an M. Night Shyamalan.
Shyamalan ding dong.
Shyamalan dong dong. We love him on this podcast. He has made some great movies. He's made some bad movies. He's made some in-betweens. And
we've never made a movie, so.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, I want to say his only found footage, or his only found footage that I've seen. Wow. He took to this genre well, I think. And, it's easy to forget that this is found footage because it is shot so well, because he is such a good director that, some of the shots are just so beautiful. There's not a whole lot of shaky cam. And the quality of the camera is so good, which makes sense because the cameras they're using. Picture just looks so good. It's easy to forget this is found footage. This is not your Blair Witch. You know what I mean? This is not 1999. It's easy to forget.
Yeah. But I thought that was something, like you said, that made it so cool.
Because we get that advancement in technology that's like, yeah, you could shoot something that looks that good. Because even people's phones can shoot something that looks that good. You can shoot in 4K on, something that you have in your house every day.
And I think that's honestly, in my own opinion, I've never made a movie, but I feel like it would be harder to shoot a found footage style movie in that good of quality, because the thing about found footage is that it's cheap to make.
Yep.
And the low quality lends help to your scares.
Absolutely. And to your effects, because they don't have to look as good because the quality.
Yeah. And so I think it was a super bold and brave move to have these like high definition cameras where we can see the pores on someone's face.
Yeah. I mean, seriously clear pictures. And it makes sense because this entire movie, it's framed as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old girl who is making her own movie. She's making a documentary. She's a film student. She wants to be, a filmmaker. And so she's getting all these really pretty shots and, like, framing things really well because she's paying attention to the camera, because it's not just, oh, there's some spooky shit going on, let's put a camera up, which I love those movies too, but it's her actually being like, no, I'm going to make a documentary about this very specific thing that my mother went through, because I love film. And so you do get these really cool shots. You get these really funny instances of them saying, like, film bro words, like mise en scène and things like that. And, yeah, I just think it's fucking funny. Kathryn Hahn.
Love Kathryn Hahn.
I love her
so much.
Fucking much in everything she's ever done.
Whenever she comes on the screen, anywhere, I'm just like, oh.
And
she's here to save the day.
And she's the first person we see. She's telling the backstory of her parents when she was a teenager. Her and her parents had a big falling out because she fell in love with one of her professors, got together with him. The parents disagreed, so they had a big falling out, and she left, hasn't talked to him since. So she's kind of giving this backstory because that is the story, the documentary that her daughter is making.
Yeah, she's not... So Kathryn Hahn's character has not seen her mom and dad in all these years.
Since she was, 18, 19, something like that?
Yes, and so the children that she has are 15 and 13, and they've never met their grandparents. So this documentary is essentially not only recanting the story that their mother told them, but just getting to know these people.
Like, hey, we're meeting our grandparents for the first time
ever.
Their dad's out of the picture now. He left them when they were pretty young a few years ago. And so she, like, the teenager, the girl specifically, is taking this, like, very hard in a way, like, just kind of meeting that other part of your family. And you can tell she really loves her mom and wants her to, like, they both are so good to their mother. Like, they love their mom. They
are very emotionally mature.
They do not really want to go to their grandparents' house. Like, they even say on the train, we're doing this so she can go on the cruise with her new boyfriend. This is us approving of that relationship. I can't believe how emotionally mature these children are.
They are ridiculous. It's like, even T Diamond Stylist.
He's amazing. I love him.
He's, like, just the way that, like, he and his sister comforted each other.
I mean,
of course they still talk shit. That's what siblings do. But at the end of the day, or like when he was having, you know, kind of a little bit of a breakdown, and
he's a germaphobe,
and she was consoling him, I literally was just like,
she knew exactly how to.
Am I about to cry at the bar right now? Because I was watching this at the restaurant I went to yesterday while I was eating lunch. I was just sitting at the end of the bar, eating my burger and my little salad with my headphones in, and she'd come over and I'd be like, I'm so good. You really don't need to worry about me. Am I bothering you? Taking up this space? And she's like, I was there at like 2:30. Like, nobody's at a bar at 2:30 on a weekday. She's like, you are absolutely fine. I'm like, okay, you're beautiful and I love you.
But yeah.
She's a tall, beautiful, sorry.
I know, I love that.
Tall, beautiful ginger.
I love their brother-sister relationship. I think they're, like, just so perfect. And you can tell that they've grown up in a, I don't know, volatile is the right word, but, like, slightly broken household. I mean, their parents are not together. Their father abandoned them, and they just love their mom. They can see all she does for them. So their mom is dropping them off at the train station so that they can go visit their grandparents. There is the cutest shot of them all hugging together. And, like, it's just, you can, like, even if you're not a parent, you can kind of feel that moment of, like, this is probably the first time she's ever let her kids go anywhere without her. She's ever gone anywhere without them. Like, I can feel it. And there's, again, like, a lot of found footage movies, you're seeing actors you don't really know that well. And I think a lot of the time that lends to the realness of the movie. You can really put yourself in the setting and kind of pretend that it's real for a while because you don't know these people. Mm-hmm. You see a face like Kathryn Hahn, and it can detract from a movie. It has for me in the past with some other actors, but she's just so good.
I agree. It didn't deter
so real.
For me. It didn't
like,
deter
when she's like kind of fake laughing and running beside the train, and then it turns into like a real run, and she's like laughing, and then she's like, you can see the like panicked look on her face because it's really starting to get going. She got me.
I know, she starts like tearing up but trying to hide it.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
I love her. She needs to be in more. She's so fucking funny. But she's
like
also
to
just
own the universe.
Yes.
Kathryn Hahn for president of the universe.
Oh my god, yes, please.
You have 2 votes right here, Kathryn Hahn.
Right here.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
If dogs can vote in your world, then we have a lot more. If dogs and white men can vote in your world, we have 8.
Exactly.
We're off to a great start, honestly.
Yes, we are.
We'll make a Facebook.
So, they're on the train and they're discussing. I really like this part because they're T Diamond's like, well, the sister Becca is like, we don't know their proclivities, we don't know how they are, we don't know what kind of people they are. And the T Diamond's like, and the brother's name is Tyler, but he's a rapper, so his name is T Diamond Stylist. Thank you very much, and I'm going to call him T Diamond for the entire podcast. Thank you.
We respect people's name choices around here.
Absolutely. So T Diamond's like, they could be scrapbookers. They could like boy bands. Like, he's thinking of all the weirdest things that could come. And this poor sweet boy thought scrapbooks and boy bands. And had no idea what was coming from him. Yahtzee! It's my favorite scene from the whole movie. So, around here we learned that the brother is a germaphobe. He uses... like, he won't touch door handles when he goes to the bathroom, things like that. And Becca explains that he's only been like that since their dad left. And I think it's a pretty nice through line through the movie that's not, like, super in your face. Like, it's not every scene he's worried about germs. But there's little bits throughout that kind of keep you remembering, oh, yeah, he's got that thing about germs. Yeah. And then the end, it's like, yeah. That comes back.
Yeah.
In the worst way.
But it's, like you said, like, on this podcast all the time, I feel like we talk about these things that seem like they're gonna develop into a really cool concept that go nowhere.
Yep.
And I love when it's able to be all pulled together slowly throughout the movie and then shoved in your face.
It's shoved right in your face, and you're like, bleh.
Anyways, so they meet Nana and Pop.
Right around here, I literally wrote, Becca is such an insufferable film geek, because she is. Like, she's so into her documentary, and she's so, like...
I thought it was funny.
But I love it. I love her character, but in that way that, like, I know I've kind of been that person before, where I'm, like, a little insufferable about things that I think I know. And I like her character a lot.
I do too.
But yes, we do eventually get to Nana and Pop, and I love them.
They are fucking weird from the jump.
I love them. They are so weird. I'm tipsy, by the way, guys. We had mimosas this morning. We had a brunch full of champagne.
We only had a couple.
We had a full bottle of champagne, plus little mini bottles of champagne.
Little spliffs.
So, there's this really... So they get there, and
I was thinking about my leftovers.
So, yes, like she said, they're weird from the beginning. Pop, the way he talks, he'll just be like, oh, yeah, man, we're so excited for you guys to be here. By the way, there's mold in the basement. Like,
don't go down there. I know, that was, like, the first thing
he just, like, he just comes off the wall with this shit.
Don't go down in the basement, there's mold.
And then, so they don't have I laughed at this, because they don't have any service on their phones, so to FaceTime their mom or Skype their mom, they have to fucking use a hard line to the internet. Oh my god. Wow. A hard line.
It's been a long time.
I'm surprised that they know how to do that.
Honestly. Yeah. But the younger generation is smarter than us.
It's very true. I love Gen Z. I've said it before. I'll say it again.
They can do stuff on the internet so young that we never would have dreamed of.
Mm-hmm. They know.
And the people before us didn't even have the internet.
I know. They know so much.
That's scary.
Yeah, so we're just kind of getting a little sense, like, yes, the grandparents are kind of weird, and we're getting that sense that maybe they're just a little strange. But at this point in the movie, when I was first watching it, I was like, is something supernatural gonna happen? Are they crazy? Is it haunted? Is it just gonna be in their minds? Like, I really like the way this movie, it kind of, like, gives you little pieces of weird in the sense that you're like, what kind of movie is this? What is the scare? Where's the bad guy? I don't know where.
Yeah.
And right up until the end, you kind of don't know. And obviously that's a testament of an M. Night Shyamalan movie. It's gonna have a twist. This one has one of the best twists I've ever seen. Did not fucking see it coming.
Oh, my eyes are watering. So I just, like, remember... transported back to the first time I watched this movie.
Yes.
And I wish that I could watch this movie again for the first time.
This is one of the ones that I wish I could erase my memory and rewatch it and just be like, oh my god!
And if you haven't seen this, go have that moment.
Please go watch this before you've seen it, because we haven't spoiled it yet. It will blow your fucking mind. If you don't know the twist of this movie, Jeff, right up until the end, he was like, oh shit! Like, yeah. So, the little brother does get a camera at one point because she's having him do, like, B-roll stuff. And there's this really funny transition, really camp transition of her being like, just be poetic with it. Just get, whatever you feel is very beautiful or moving. And then it cuts to him just right up in the camera, just, of course that's what a 13-year-old boy is going to do with a camera.
But then, little investigative journalist that T. Diamond is.
We haven't talked about his rapping yet. He can rap about anything. I love him. He raps basically like the Will.i.am. Like, if you think of Will Smith rapping, that's what this boy sounds like. He raps about tall girls a lot.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I love him.
Ho?
He always says, ho. Like, he's, I don't want kids because it wouldn't be T. Diamond. I want this to be my son.
Well, he starts following Pop. He's walking around with the camera.
Yeah.
And
they got a big like, farmland kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just a lot of land.
And it's, like, snowing out. Like, it's cold out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he sees Pop Pop from across the field coming out of this creepy shed. And he's like, Pop Pop! And then Pop Pop turns around, stares at him, and then walks the fuck away.
He's like, well, that's weird.
He's like, okay. And he's like, what's in the shed, Becca? I was like, okay.
He is so over his sister. I love the way he's fucking with her this whole time.
Oh, yeah. It's so good. But, yeah, then we get cut to a scene where he's telling them, he's like, we're old people, which they kept emphasizing a lot. Like, we get it. You're old. You have issues.
They're trying to, like, explain away their weirdness, but we're old people, you know? We're old.
Yeah. And they're like, we go to bed at 9:30.
Same sometimes. Yeah, so
They're like, 9:30.
Yeah, so they are chilling in bed later that night. They, of course, can't sleep because they're teenagers. Of course, they can't go to bed at 9:30 in the summer. More, you know, that especially. So she goes to grab some of Nana's cookies. It's the way she does everything. I hate her and I love her because she's, like, taking the camera. She's like, I'm taking the route that my mom used to maybe have taken when she would go steal cookies from Nana late at night. And I'm like,
or when she
yes, that's very sweet, but also, wow, I love you.
You're so annoying.
She's so annoying, and I love her for it.
Me too.
She's just so into what she does, and she's just so, I love it.
And she plays such a very specific type of person that we've all met.
Absolutely.
Or
have all been a little bit. A little bit. Becca, I feel you. But then we realized Nana parties. Man, Nana parties hard. Because right before she walks downstairs, she, like, looks into the hall, and Nana just, like, walks through and just...
projectiles.
And then just keeps walking.
She does it, like, twice. It was like...
My friend Nora did that once without missing a step. She puked mid-step and kept walking. And me and my cousin, who were walking behind her, stopped. And we're like, Nora, are you good? And she was like, I'm good, come on. We'd been drinking since, like, 9 a.m. It was, like, 4 in the afternoon. It was bad.
Well,
I love you, Nora.
That was like me at Pride. I was like,
yes,
I'm fine. I'm just going to go puke over here.
It's called Boot and Rally.
And then as I was done, I looked at my friend and I was like, I'm done puking. Go take a picture of that dog.
Boot and Rally. So anyway, Nana boot and rallies down the hallway.
Oh my god, she does something.
Anyway, so this is around the time that I realized, and this time around, that I started watching the things that Nana and Pop Pop were doing around the house. Specifically Pop Pop, because he is very much, it seems like he is taking care of the land. He's doing something with the hay. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but he's throwing the hay out. He's, like, doing things around the land, and I'm wondering the whole time, having watched this before, how does he know what he's doing? Is he, but that's the
master
thing.
Bullshitter.
Is he doing anything? Because when he's throwing the hay out, I'm like, what is he doing with that hay? Is he just, like, pretending so it looks like he's doing something?
Dude,
because I wouldn't know what the fuck to do on that farm or in that land.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because, like, he's in the, like, and T Diamond's, like, talking to him, or maybe it's Becca, and he's, like, throwing the, like, hay out, and, you know, and I'm just like, how does he know what to do around the house and around the land? But then I'm like, does he? Or, like, is he just doing things that he looks like
he's working?
This is what people, I think, do. They're moving hay from here to here, so I'm gonna move hay from here to
That's
here.
a really good point that I never even thought about.
The only time I thought about it was this time around. I was like, wait, how does he know how to take care of it? Oh, wait, I don't think he does. It doesn't look like he's doing anything.
Like looking back on it, that makes so much sense because you never really, like, even, like, the wood chopping. Like,
yeah, way too much.
Him.
You know what I mean? Way too much wood. He's just, like, piling it, and there's, like, they do, like, a shot of, like, how much there is. And, yeah, it kind of feeds into that, like, if you're not paying attention, it's like, yeah, he's just taking care of the land. But if you know what's going on and you're paying attention, it's like, oh, he's pretending he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's mimicking what he's seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Which is creepy in hindsight. Then we get one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie because it's fucking scary. there is this, like, underneath the house.
Like the crawl space.
There's, like, a crawl space underneath where you can get into, and it's, like, there's, like, these little pillars that are, like, for the house. And Becca and T. Diamond decide they're gonna, like, run around and play hide and seek. And I guess the mom had done that before. And I think it, like, even though it looks really gross, and I'm sure there's lots of spider webs, it still looks kind of fun. I would do it. Like, and so they're, like, crawling around, finding each other, and then all of a sudden Nana's there, and she's terrifying.
She's like, what did she say?
I'm gonna get you, Becca.
I'm gonna get you, Becca.
Like, and she's, like, spider monkey crawling around.
I was like... Oh my fucking
I wrote,
God.
bruh, Nana's weird and scary.
Nana comes running at her like she's possessed.
Here I come, Tyler. Here I come.
Literally. And it's so funny because they're like really freaked out running away from her, and they both end up like falling out of, not falling out, but like running out of the entrance, like to get out of there. And then Nana comes like crawling out, and she's like laughing and dusting herself off. She's like, haha, wasn't that funny? And then she turns around and her skirt's all like ripped and like her ass is showing. And they're like, just both like, what the fuck? And Nana's just like, haha, wasn't that fun? I'm gonna go bake cookies.
And literally you just see her bare ass.
I love Nana. Nana's hot. Come at me. I've seen that woman naked. That woman has a nicer body than I do. Nana's hot.
I'm not indulging.
Go fuck yourself. Nana's hot.
I wasn't coming at you. I just said I'm not indulging in this conversation.
Whatever. So then we keep getting these weird people that are showing up at the door.
Yeah,
that are like asking, like, hey,
because the grandparents like volunteer at this like
at a psychiatric hospital.
Yes, and the doctor, like one of the doctors, stopped by. He hadn't heard from him in a long time, and he said that really wasn't like them.
And we get the second instance of when they realize somebody's filming. He's like, I used to be once an actor in my day. And then they start, like, trying to do a scene because it was him and the train conductor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did everybody used to be an actor?
I thought that was really funny, though.
I liked that. Because the train conductor does it, and they, like, cut him off. And then this guy does it, too. And they cut him off,
I gotta turn the camera off.
Back up both times. It's just like, what the fuck do you want? Like, stop trying to fuck up my movie. Come on.
But it was crazy because conveniently enough, when the doctor stopped by, Nana and Pop Pop were taking a walk.
Yes.
Convenient.
That was dog hair. But yes,
It always is.
This is around the point that I was like, okay, I get that they know that that guy knows the grandparents, but doesn't he know what's going on at Sunnyside or whatever it's called? Wouldn't he be a little more concerned that he hadn't heard from them? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't he be like, well, I was supposed to talk to him, so...
He looked pretty concerned.
Yeah, and I guess maybe just because the grandkids are there...
He didn't want to freak them out.
Well, that, and he's probably like, well, they're here, so, like, they have to know who they're... they have to know that everything's okay. They look fine. That makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't know the whole background story.
That makes sense, because, yeah, of course he probably wouldn't know that they don't know what they look like. And
absolutely.
So he's like, oh, well, the grandkids are here. They seem like they're okay. They seem like everything's fine.
Maybe they just needed a break.
Maybe I'm just like, okay, yeah, just have them call me. And that makes sense later, too, for Stacy. Mm-hmm. Because she seems like she would be more concerned. But if the grandkids are there saying, well, it seems like everything's fine, she's going to be like, okay, maybe I'm just paranoid. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Next scene.
I was dying laughing. First, because of T. Diamond. So Pop Pop walks out and he's doing this dramatic scene where he's like looking into the camera, T. Diamond is, and he's like, wonder what could be in there. Is it dead bodies? And he stops and he's like, is it dead bodies? Like he's doing it different ways. And I wrote that 3 times, and then Jeff said, well, I'm guessing it is. And then I wrote, bitch, you thought. Bitch, if it was dead bodies, you would be less concerned.
Honestly, this movie, yeah.
Because T. Diamond walks into the shed, and what does he find, Jess? What does he find?
he finds high piles of shit-covered adult diapers.
Oh my god, and this is the germaphobe that finds it, and he walks in, and you don't really know what it is, like, it's just, like, a pile of just kind of, like, white, like, you don't know, and he kind of, like, picks one of them up, and it's a shitty diaper, and he fucking loses it.
Oh, shit! Oh! Oh, god damn it! Oh, Sarah McLachlan!
Oh.
I mean, and I can almost smell it through the TV. You know what I mean? Because he walks in, he's like, oh, it smells like ass. And when he does that, he's just said dead bodies 3 times, and you're thinking, oh, I wonder if it smells like a dead body.
Right.
No, it smells like shit, because there's shit everywhere. There's dirty diapers. Like, this movie cannot stop surprising me. I was so, like,
Gross.
what?
I know, it's like, who's collecting
I was expecting the spooks to start, not the spooks.
Not the
shits.
The Hershey squirt.
The squirts.
Ew.
I was expecting the spooks, not the poops.
Well, he, like, falls out of the shed because he's mortified.
He is done. He is so done.
And Nana sees him outside of the shed, and she's like, again, another, like, gaslighting, explaining away. Your Pop has incontinence.
He hides them in the shed because he's embarrassed, and
burns
then he burns them. First of all, miles. You would smell that for miles. Miles and miles around. And second of all, gross.
Disgusting.
It's gross. So, anyway, this is when, and I wrote like 3 or 4 instances that he does this. He says, I decided that I'm going to start using female pop stars in place of curse words. Like, if I stub my toe, I'm going to go, oh, Sarah McLachlan. Oh, yeah. Oh, Sarah.
Shakira.
Shakira, yeah. And then later he does, oh, Sarah McLachlan. And,
Katy Perry.
Yeah. Oprah Winfrey.
Not a pop star.
I know, but I was thinking of the Talladega Nights.
Help me, Jesus. Help me, Tom Cruise.
Help me, Oprah Winfrey. Yeah.
Use your Scientology magic.
Yes! Get the flames off me.
shit.
Anyway, this is around when they all go out with Pop, and he freaks out because he, like, thinks this guy is following them, and he starts, like, trying to beat him up. And Becca's
just
like...
a random stranger.
Becca's like, they're not following us. Like, he doesn't know who you are.
He doesn't know you, Papa.
I would, like, if I was that guy, I would feel kind of bad, even though I was the one getting beat up. Like, it's this clearly crazy, like, not okay man with his 2 young grandchildren being like, Pop, it's okay. Like, he doesn't know you, and he's just laying on the ground like, I don't know you, dude. Like,
I know, I did feel bad for that guy, too.
Yeah, I felt bad for him, and I felt bad, like, if I was that guy, I would feel so bad for the old man, because I would just assume, like, oh my god, he has dementia or something.
Me too.
Like,
I would definitely feel bad.
Ugh. I wrote right here, it's easy to forget this is found footage, because it's just shot so well.
I know, it really is.
And again, I got through this movie on my 72-inch screen without feeling sick one time, because it's just so fucking good.
Good quality.
Great quality. Hey, Nana's hot. We see a hot naked Nana right here. Right around here.
So, we're back at the house. And, you know, the 9:30 curfew. It is 10:47 and there's someone outside the door scratching at it.
They hear, like, these weird, like, noises. And, like, they don't know what it is, and so they open the door.
Oh my gosh.
And naked Nana is just... It's actually really fucking creepy.
It's
just
terrifying.
Like the sight of someone just like scratching at a wall is scary. Like, why are you doing that? And she's
it's like
butt-ass naked.
It's like a wall down the hall too. It's not like even like their actual door. It's just like it's terrifying.
But then we learn she does this because of sundowning, which is a real thing I have heard about many, many times. It's been in a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, and it is a very common thing For people with early onset dementia, it is really called sundowning, and it actually does happen when the sun sets. A person can be 100% normal and there and all the way totally fine for the entire day, but when the sun sets, their brain chemistry really does, something happens, and they are not themselves. They don't know what's going on. There's a lot of confusion, and it typically is a symptom of early onset dementia. And so he's explaining all this, and it makes so much sense because these are the weird things that, like she's totally normal throughout the day. She can function just like she's supposed to, but then when it's nighttime, they tell the grandkids, like, hey, you have to be in by 9:30 because, and now we realize because Grandma has sundowning. She is not okay when it's nighttime, and and he's telling this story while he's dressing. Like, he's, like, and it just, like, this is a thing that happens in movies, you know, someone's doing something while they're telling a story, but you realize he's putting on this really fancy tuxedo.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I gotta get to the train.
I gotta catch the train, I'm going to the costume party.
The costume party. And then he just stops, and Becca's like, Pop, I think you're confused. And he's like, oh, yeah, no, that's not tonight, And then even Nana says later, she's like, was he getting dressed for the costume party again? Like, if I was these grandkids, I'd be like, Mom, get off the cruise, come get me now.
Also, I was just loving the fact that, like, the whole time when, like, they were, like, trying to explain for each other, they were just like, to tell you the truth. And then, like, after they've just been bullshitting the whole time. Yeah. I'm like, they're actually, like, pretty good liars.
They always come up with an excuse for the other one, but then they end up doing something crazy in the meantime. Like, when Nana's explaining that he's incontinent, like, she's doing something weird, and when he's explaining that she has sundowning, he's dressing for some random party. It's just, it's so... Ugh. They keep making food, by the way. It all looks so good. I don't give a shit how crazy Nana is. That bitch can cook. Her cheddar biscuits looked fire.
They did look really good.
She's constantly cooking, making cookies and breakfast and biscuits, and I just want to eat it all. It looks amazing.
But she's a messy cook. Because
Yes.
she got biscuit batter on only the webcam part of their laptop.
Yes, and then tried to clean it with oven cleaner. I was like, well, I tried to, and it's just like this white, just right across, just the webcam.
Dried.
Just the webcam.
Cakey.
And so they can see their mom when they call, but they can't, she can't see them. Oh yeah, I wrote, Carrie Underwood. So, they're on the phone with their mom, and the sister, Becca, is not wanting to tell the mom that they're acting weird. Mm-hmm. She wants her to be having a good time, but Tyler just blurts it out, and she's like, Nana and Pop-Pop are acting weird.
She's like, they're old. I knew we were going to have this conversation.
Yeah. And it's just, like, a lot of the things he's saying, I mean, obviously not every person who ages is going to experience things like this, but these kinds of things are obviously more common in elderly people, and so she's just brushing it off as well. They have problems because they're old. She doesn't know because she hasn't seen them in years, so she doesn't know how they've aged. Right. So she's just attributing this to, well, Tyler's never really been around elderly people because he doesn't know any of his grandparents. He's only known me and his dad. He doesn't know that this is just how people act when they get older. And, again, there's just, like, everything makes sense in this movie. Yeah. This isn't one of those movies where I'm sitting there like, oh my god, why isn't the mother believing them? Oh my god, she's being so stupid. Listen to your children. It's very minor things at this point where she's just like, guys, they're weird, you know? They're old. It makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's just a well-written movie. Okay?
Yeah. And then...
This was a trailer line for sure. I remember this trailer.
Nana's asking her to help her clean out
Would you mind getting into the oven to clean it for me?
Like, getting into the oven.
That was a trailer line for fucking sure.
Would you mind getting inside the oven to clean it?
I'm sorry?
And I love the way that this was shot because it was like, you know, you have the focus on Becca in the forefront, and then it kind of shifts as we see Nana very, like, robotically pull out the shelf and, like, kind of turn.
And she's just holding it and stands there for, like, 3 beats before she says, Becca, would you mind getting into the oven to clean it for me?
I'm too big. I simply won't fit.
And, yeah, so she gets in there and she's like, no, deeper. And she gets all the way back there. Nothing happens. She just gets right out. She's like, see, was that too hard?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it's scary. Also, how deep is that oven? My oven ain't that deep. I can get into it with one arm. You know what I mean? I can hit the back of my oven with my arm. How deep is that oven? I can't fit in my oven.
I've never tried. So that part was really, like, it was tense, but I'm glad that ended up coming back around too. But, yeah, so then she's filming, her part of the documentary that is her interview with Nana. And she starts asking about what happened with their mother.
Any question she asks, Nana will answer. She may get a little weird. But anytime she asks a specific question,
Yes.
What happened this day with my mother the day she left? What do you feel about this thing that happened? Anytime she has to answer a question that's very specific, she just freaks out. She either, like, pulls her scarf tight, or she, like, starts shaking, or, like, hitting herself in the head, or whatever. And it's like, again, it's framed as this, like, if you're just watching this and you've never seen it before, you're like, oh, it's because she's upset. She's, you know,
PTSD.
she's got some kind of thing about that moment that she's just freaking out about.
Triggers,
but then, in hindsight, you realize she's freaking out because she doesn't know the answer.
Right. Yeah.
So T Diamond at this point is freaking the fuck out and wants to put a camera out at night. He wants to set up a Paranormal Activity style, I'm going to set this here and see what happens at night. And Becca is all about integrity and is like, no, we're not involved. They don't know what's happening. I'm not behind the camera. I don't want this to happen. This is not ethical. And I love that. She is a 15-year-old who fucking cares about film ethics.
I love it too.
I love it.
But I was still like, these people are fucking crazy.
These people are
I'd
fucking
fucking film them too.
Yes.
Love you, Becca. But it's like me stealing hot sauce from restaurants, you know? I'm just like,
I have never seen her do that.
I love you. I'm going to turn a blind eye.
I've never seen her do that. That has never happened.
She's also never
Put me on the stand.
encouraged me to do it.
Put me on the stand. Right under oath. Bitch.
I'll lie. I
Come
already
at
lost my husband.
Bitch.
I don't want to lose my reputation.
We're tipsy.
Quoting Legally Blonde. If you put me on the stand, I'll lie. You lost my husband.
Okay. Liposuction! No. And then you took a shower. I think we've established that she took a shower.
That she was, in fact, in the shower.
But your curls. Anyway, so this is around when we get the backstory of T Diamond's football thing, which comes back later in the best, and I mean best with a capital B, E, and S, and T, best possible way. I fucking love the way this football thing comes back. So he's telling the story of one of the last times their dad was ever around. He was at a football game. He was playing pee-wee football or whatever. And the guy's running toward him with the ball and he just freezes. T Diamond freezes. He can't tackle him. He doesn't do anything. The coach is yelling at him. His dad's yelling at him. The crowd's yelling at him like, get him, get him. And he can't. He just freezes. And in a small 13-year-old boy's developing mind, he's kind of blaming himself for his dad leaving. He was disappointed in me. That's why he left. And
right.
It's such a sad little moment. I love it. And then right after that, we get a very emotional moment with Becca where Tyler asks her, why don't you look in the mirror at yourself? Why can't you even look at yourself in the face? And, like, both of these children, babies, have gone through so much and have come out. And it makes sense why they have come out as more emotionally mature and why they take care of their mother the way they do, because they have been through this shit and they have lost their father to some yoga instructor that he just fucking ran off with. Like, yes, if you want to run, like, if you don't want to be in your marriage, yes, feel free to get divorced. Leaving your children behind is a whole different fucking thing. That is a whole different ballpark.
100%.
Like, yeah.
Especially, like, not telling them why and just, like, or that you were leaving, like, leaving them with that guilt their entire lives, always thinking that it was them.
Exactly.
You know?
Like Becca said, like, I'm not using any footage of my dad in this movie. I fucking refuse. He is not a part of my life. I'm not going to acknowledge him. And in the same way that T-Diamond is, like, in the opposite way, almost, he's like, I'm not mad at him. Shit happens. It's fine. I still love him. He's cool. Like, it's dad. They're both ignoring the problem and just kind of like, well, whatever. You know, and that, of course that's how a child is going to deal with it, because I don't know how to deal with those emotions, and I'm almost 30. Like, bitch. This is when... So anyway, we get these... I love that we get these really emotional moments.
Oh, it makes you love these characters.
Beautiful moments that really round out these characters in a found footage movie, because so many people are so easy to write off. Found footage is easy. It's going to be a shitty movie. The story's not going to make sense. This, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. That is not fucking true, because M. Night Shyamalan made a good fucking movie. I don't care if he made it found footage or not. Like, even if this wasn't found footage, he could have made this movie good, but he chose to make it like this, but still not sacrifice any of the acting, the scenes, the lighting, the techniques, anything. He didn't sacrifice anything to make a found footage movie. And a lot of people don't see that often, and they just kind of write it off in general. It's like, no, watch this one. Because this one's going to make you change your mind about the whole genre.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to appreciate the really high-quality filming of things. Mm-hmm. And then you'll eventually, I hope, get to enjoy the really shitty ones, too.
Because even though they're shitty, they're harder to make than you'd think.
Yeah.
If you go out with a camera, you're not going to do as well as they can. I promise. It's harder than you think it is to make a shitty found footage movie.
Right.
Like...
But they are, like, they were going out with Mom, Nana, and Pop to go check out, like, he wants to look at the well that, like, he saw them staring into. And so he's, like, pulling up the bucket and, like, I don't think he found anything, did he?
Nope, nothing gets found in the well. It's just,
that
just
one's
really
the only
dirty
thing that
water.
didn't really...
But it kind of comes up later because she tells the story of Saturn Morphinalia or whatever, the little pond, but the creatures that spit in the pond.
Yes.
Because then later, Pop is going to send them to Saturn Morphinalia or whatever it's called, by putting them in the well, because they're in there too. So that kind of comes back a little. That scene specifically is like, what are they, why are we here?
Right.
But yes, the well does come back up. There's this really creepy scene of Nana just like, and this was another trailer moment where she's just rocking and laughing at nothing at the wall. Just a blank wall, just ha 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 ha. She's like, what are you laughing at? And she's just like, I have the deep darkies.
Oh my god.
What is that?
That's fucking horrifying. But I think we forgot. This is just a small thing, but I think it's really funny. Like her Naruto running across across the fucking hall,
and then he makes fun of her the next day, and doesn't she catches him?
It was fucking hilarious.
Becca's like, T stop. So yes, we this is like in both. We get a scene with Pop and Nana back to back in this. It's kind of throughout the movie, we will get back-to-back moments with them of mirrored levels of craziness. So, we'll get, like, early in the movie, we get the little tiny bits of him with the tux, of her with her sundowning. And then around here, we're getting her laughing at nothing with this back-to-back scene of him with the gun in his mouth. This shotgun. And when she walks around the corner, he's got it in his mouth. And he notices and he pulls it out real quick and says, I was just cleaning it. I was just cleaning it. And he's just, like, cleaning it. But it was in his fucking mouth. And it's still, like, they are both increasing in their craziness at the exact same rate. Like, at the exact same exponential, like, they are both losing it and unable to hide and fake that normalcy anymore because they are both...
They put a lot of work into it.
Oh, they are trying so hard. Oh my god.
But
the amount of effort.
But this is the part where Becca's like, fuck integrity. We need to see what the fuck they're doing at night.
Once he tried to swallow that gun, she thought, you know, I'm scared.
I'm actually, like, thinking maybe this isn't normal. Because it's the middle of the day, and she's still doing that weird... She's still doing a weird thing.
She's still being weird, and he's being so now I'm afraid. So yeah, she does put up the camera. We get this really awesome jump scare, because Nana's crawling around at night, and, like, walking by and crawling by, and then she, like, blur, pops up right in the camera. It's still not the best Nana moment. We'll get to the best Nana moment, I promise. This woman's physical acting is incredible. And I mean fucking incredible. This woman made this movie what it is, truly. Because her physical acting, like in the crawling, in the scratching, and then in the end with the Yahtzee moment, like she is so fucking good. Yahtzee! With
food
the
is just flying.
And the way she's like around the cookies, like I can't. I'm so obsessed with her. So,
you mind if I hit your pen?
Not even a little bit. Mine might be dead soon, but it should work for that. So we get a little more of T. Diamond's germ problem. They're, like, when he flushes the toilet, he has to use the tissue. There weren't any tissues. He touched it, and, like, it's a very sweet brother-sister moment that, like, you didn't need in this movie necessarily, but makes everything so much more emotional. Like, you feel more attached to these kids because they really love each other. Like, this big sister is trying so hard to take care of her brother in a way that she doesn't understand. Like, she doesn't know what he's going through. She's not a germaphobe.
No, but she's like, she was so
she's like
soft.
trying to wipe his hand off, and he's like, no, you can't see it. It's there, but you can't see it. And she's like, no, I'm getting it off. And she's like going with him. Like, she's letting herself feel what he's feeling to, like, help him. And she's like, wait, she's like, no, look, I'm getting it off.
She was
and
never like, you're crazy, like,
she's
you're
like, there's nothing there.
overreacting.
There's, you know, she's not saying, there's nothing there, you're being stupid, blah, blah. She's like, no, look, I'm getting it. Look, I got a clean tissue. I love this moment. I didn't have one of those moments, like, with my brother ever. Like,
I don't think I did either.
Like, I wish.
I literally wrote the relationship between this brother and sister is so sweet.
So sweet. I absolutely love it. And
that was such a sweet scene.
But around this time, they're like, you know what? Oh, this is before they call their mom before that. Because she keeps talking about the elixir. She needs to get the elixir for her mom. And I like this part of the movie in the sense that, like, it gives a reason for them to stay there and keep filming. Mm-hmm. More so than some others. It's like, but what if something else happens? Or, ooh, people need to see this. She is using the excuse, or she is doing this, and the movie is using the excuse of she wants to get this specific thing for her mother because they love their mom so much. They know how much she struggles. And she's like, no, I came here for this one thing. I know that things are going wrong right now, but I have to do this for mom. And it just shows more of their maturity. Yeah. So.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So then.
Anyway, the elixir, basically, she's interviewing Nana to basically get her to say that she forgives her mom for what happened. They had this big blow up before she left, and she's trying to get on camera for her grandparents to say to her mom, I forgive you for what happened. She thinks her mom needs that to move on. So she does get that eventually. She has to frame it as a hypothetical because, again, anytime she asks a specific question, Nana freaks out. She frames it as a hypothetical, says, well, what if this happened? What would you say? And then Nana can answer. And it seems, again, if you're just watching this for the first time, it's like, oh, well, she can finally say it because it's just hypothetical and she can pull herself out. No, she can finally say it because she got the details and now she knows what's going on. She didn't know the answer before.
And also this is the time where, like, Pop starts talking about the white...
With the yellow eyes.
The white-haired creature with the yellow eyes.
Yeah.
And then the woman that we talked about briefly earlier, Stacy, who was a part of the program there, came by and asked about them. And then we see her come back now, and the kids are upstairs. And she sees them out the window, and the lady is, like, arguing.
They're, like, arguing. You can't hear what they're saying, but they're, like, kind of freaking out. And the people, Nana and Pop were, like, kind of pointing to the back. And when I'm watching this time, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, what is this conversation? How is she not just running away? Because I think she knows who they are, or is kind of figuring out what's going on. But I think that in this moment, they're probably telling her, no, they're right back here. Come back here. We're going to tell you, they're right here. Let me show you where they are. And so they go around to the back of the house, and we don't see Stacy again for a little while.
Yeah.
But they know that Stacy didn't leave because her car's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And a little while later, they open a door, and there's Stacy hanging from a tree. It's the creepiest, smallest moment where they barely open the door and see her, and then Pop slams it closed, and is like, come on, guys, we're going to play a game. Like, it is the smallest, and it's very Scream-esque.
Yeah.
Like, her hanging from the tree. But before we get to that, we get to the moment of the movie. And I mean the moment of this movie. Because Becca is like, okay, I got the elixir. Time to call Mom. We gotta call Mom. We're getting out of here tonight. We need to call Mom right now.
I forgive you, little girl.
She cleans off the webcam so Mom can see them again. And she's like, Mom, you have to come get us. Nana and Pop are weird, but not weird. Like, they're crazy.
Not just old.
You need to come get us right now. And so the mom's like, well, where are they? Show me to them. And so the kids, they're like, Nana and Pop are outside out the window. And so the kids, like, turn the laptop so that the webcam is showing them. So Catherine Hahn, the mom, can see them. And they're like, they've been so weird. And blah,
the whole
blah,
time she's like, babies.
And she's trying, and, like, they finally sit down and she's like, listen to me now. That's not Nana and Pop.
Becca, Tyler, just listen to me.
We are.
Those aren't your grandparents.
What are you talking about, Mom?
Those are not your grandparents.
Who have you been staying with?
Have you been staying
with them all week? And they're both just like, and I swear to God, every time I watch this movie, I get chills when that moment happens.
Oh my God, I got chills talking about it.
That's the scariest thing I'm going to hear in my life. Those aren't your grandparents. They're not what?
What are they?
Who are they? So, the mom starts calling the, local county police. And I'm thinking, bitch, just call 911. They're going to send them closest person. Like, they're not going to only call the local sheriff and, like, get a voicemail. They're going to call the closest whatever and get them there. Which eventually does happen. So the mom is like, okay, stay safe. I'm getting in the car. I'm going to keep calling. I'm coming to get you right now. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine how much fear that mother has.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you already felt, like, bad about sending them to your parents. You haven't talked to them in forever. You don't really know what's going on. You go on this trip by yourself.
She's like, I've never spent this long
You
away
already
from my
felt
kids.
bad anyway. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, I don't even know who I left them with. Ah!
And I've got a long-ass drive to think about it.
Yes.
Ugh.
This, from here to the end,
Just
is... Even if
the fan.
Even if the rest of the movie had sucked, which it didn't, but even if the rest of the movie had sucked, I would love this movie just for the last 15 minutes. Because this movie fucking rules. 4 or 5 times I wrote in my notes, this movie rules. Because this movie fucking rules. I love this shit.
I fucking love it.
So, it's game night, right? So...
they're trying to act really fucking normal.
Yes, and they're
not. Horrible actors.
And so
at being normal, but they're great, like they're amazing.
So Nana and Pop are slowly unraveling. Like, they're just not okay anymore. And they're all playing Yahtzee. And he's like, I'm a Yahtzee master. And she's like, you're not a Yahtzee master. It takes 10 years to become that. I'm just fucking dying.
We used to play it at the cafeteria or something.
What cafeteria, Pop? And he's just, nothing. And so while they're sitting there all playing, Pop has an accident. Shits himself. I mean, the way I farted this morning, but worse. So, and it's so funny because when he does it, Nana picks up a cookie in both hands and just... and there's like powdered sugar all over him, so there's all over her mouth, and the way she's eating is... and then she puts him down, quickly grabs the dice, shakes him, like throws it out, and then in the camera just goes, Yahtzee! It's the fucking cookies. It's my favorite part of this movie.
Katy Perry. What time is it, Nana? Isn't it getting late?
It's really
By
scary.
Far! Oh
So
my
scary.
god, it's so good. This woman, I love this woman so much. The way she just put her whole entire soul into this role. And and T Diamond's just like, because at this point Becca has like left. She left the table. She's like, oh, my camera's dying. I gotta go do something. But she goes down into the basement. And she's on the camera. She's like, I think they have my grandparents held down here. Technically,
They were being held by something.
Technically, they are down there. They are.
In a dumpster?
And you found them in the basement, dead, super dead, just uber dead. With the Nana, the fake Nana and Pop's like uniforms from the psychiatric hospital that they escaped from.
Yeah, the one that they
and the people who have been
grandparents
showing
used to work
up,
at.
like Stacy and the other guy, kept alluding to, the craziness that went down at the hospital. Like, they keep alluding to something that happened at the hospital. Turns out it's because two crazies escaped. And it's the Nana and Pop that we have been staying with for a week.
And unfortunately, they'll never get to...
This movie fucking rules.
That was, like, the gag of the century, too. Just, like, seeing them down there.
Yes, and they, like, she's, like, when she finds their bodies, she finds all these framed pictures of the real Nana and Pop, because the whole time I'm watching, the second time I watched this movie, I'm thinking, why are there no pictures of the real Nana and Pop around? They took them all down.
Yeah.
And there are a few left of the fake Nana and Pop, but it's because they were, the real Nana and Pop had been their counselors, so there are pictures of them around that they had taken with the hospital, so the grandkids are seeing like, oh look, there's pictures of Nana and Pop, but it's actually the ones that the real Nana and Pop had taken.
Oh, wow.
With their patients. You know what I mean? Like, they have pictures of, like,
Yeah.
So that's
I
why...
didn't even think about that. I didn't notice that. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
So, yeah, she's down in the basement. She finds them. Pop gets down there. And takes her and locks her in a room with Nana.
Oh my god.
And
So
Nana
scary.
and Becca get into a fight. And
Under the fucking covers, like it's...
At
it's
one point, like, a mirror
creepy.
breaks and she just stabs the shit out of her with a mirror shard just repeatedly. It's awesome. It's super fucking great.
I can't imagine being a
it's like this,
15-year-old and
like,
having to do that.
Like, the camera's kind of, like, lying on the bed where they're, like, fighting. So you're just, like, seeing, like, just a very close-up section of them, like, wrestling in the bed. It's really fucking cool. And because, like, and part of it, like, I like these scenes because in a lot of instances, like, these movies, you're like, why are they still filming? Becca's been using this camera as a light for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
She's using it as the flashlight to get her through every room. And so that's why she's filming all of this, because that's how she's seeing. And it's not one of those, like, why does she still have the camera in her hand? She's scared. No, she's carrying it because she needs the flashlight.
Well, that's, like, also the whole theme of the video game Outlast is...
Yeah.
You don't have weapons and you don't have a flashlight. You have the light on your camera.
You're running. You're only running and hiding.
Yeah.
That is you can
run,
hide, and you can
or
hide.
die.
Yeah, you can run and you can hide, and that's why I suck at that movie, because I panic. I get all panicked and I'm
I get so panicky and get so involved. I'm like, I'm literally the one in there about to die.
And I don't know which buttons to press, and then all of a sudden I'm caught because my hands froze. I love Outlast.
So scary.
So this again. So Nana's out of the picture. Pop and T Diamond are in the kitchen, and Pop says, "I never liked you." And he takes off his pants. We don't see this. It's behind a thing. Takes off his pants and then takes off his diaper, and then. Right in the face of T Diamond, just smears.
He's like, I heard you a germaphobe,
and then just, and it's fucking. And T Diamond's froze the way he did at the football game. He's frozen. He can't move. He's freaked out, and so Pop's doing all this stuff. So Becca comes down, and I mean, Spider Monkey jumps on this man's back to save her brother, just like just on him, just fucking wrestling him around. And that's the moment that T Diamond unfreezes, because he couldn't save himself, but the second that Becca was in trouble, he unfroze and he knew what to do. And this is my favorite part. Other than the Yahtzee moment, this is my favorite moment. When he's running around yelling football terms, and he's like, go to the line, get the defense, break through, and he's like, and so he gets Pop on the ground, he shoves him down, and he's bashing his fucking head in with the fucking refrigerator door, screaming all these fucking football terms, and just keeps coming back and bashing it, and Becca's holding him back, and any other crazy ass bitches in here! This kid has lost it.
Went past the breaking point.
Oh my god.
It was so fucking...
Even if the rest of this movie sucked, and it didn't, even if it did, I would be so into it because of this fucking scene. Everything comes together so fucking perfectly. His germophobia, his little thing with his dad, all of it and he just smashing this man. And you're not seeing it, it's off screen, but it's perfect. Mm-hmm. You know what he's doing. You can see the body laying there. And it's pouring rain outside, so eventually they run outside, the rain's pouring down, and the cops and their mom get there right at that moment, and they're all hugging, and it's great, and they're saved. And there's this very, very sweet moment at the end.
Where Catherine Hahn finally sat down with her daughter.
Because she wouldn't tell her what actually happened the day she left. She kept telling her daughter, I'm not going to say what happened the day I left, because I don't want to. If they decide to tell you, they tell you.
Yeah, and now, they weren't going to get that opportunity, so she opened up and shared the story, and essentially it was her parents, didn't want her to run off with this guy, so, her mom, cursed at her.
And blocked her from leaving.
And Catherine Hahn, cursed at her back.
She hit her mom.
Oh, she hit her mom, and then her dad hit her.
And they all kind of stood there for a minute, oh shit, that just happened.
Yeah.
And then and then she left, and they never spoke again until, and then her parents died. And
but Becca asked her if, her parents tried to reach out. She's like, yeah, shortly after.
They told me and, she knew that her daughter was trying to get her that forgiveness from her parents, and she told her, she's like, I didn't need that. They offered it. If it was there when I wanted it, shortly after I left, they reached out to me. And if I had wanted that, I could have gotten it at any time.
It literally,
it got to me. It's such a sweet, sweet thing. And then the credits roll. And we get this little tiny note that says, my brother insisted that I put this in the movie.
It was
T Diamond rapping. I love rap. Oh, and also she puts in footage of her dad. Because she gets that message from her mom, and she, learns, it's not everything's black and white. I'm not gonna just completely shut that part off. I'm still gonna use these images of me and my dad when I was younger, because it means something.
Yeah.
And, this movie is so fucking well written, so well directed, so well acted. I cannot believe it didn't get bigger than it did.
Right.
Not a lot of people know about this movie, especially for an M. Night Shyamalan. please go watch this. It is so fucking good.
Every time I bring up this movie to people, like, everyone always has, like, such a reaction if they have seen it. They're like, oh, The Visit! And I'm like, yes. That is the correct reaction.
Because some shit goes down.
Or you could be like, ooh, that movie. I also can understand
but
and
so
respect
many
that.
people are like, oh, I've never heard of that. And it's like, dude, you're missing out.
Right.
But yeah, so I actually watched this movie because it was covered by the Dead Meat podcast. I had never really heard of it. So I was at work and needed to watch a movie while I was doing some, like, purging. And so I put it on my phone, and the whole time I was so engrossed. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And ever since then, I've just been fucking obsessed with this movie. And I'm so glad. Like, when I saw it, because again, Jess put together all of Found Footage Fall. When I saw this was on the list, I got so fucking excited because this is one of my favorite found footage movies. And like, it's easy to forget.
Yeah, and like we talked about, like, the connections between, like, how we feel about T. Diamond and Annie from last week's episode when we did Dash Cam. Like, there are just a lot of similarities. There's poop.
Yeah.
There
are
rapping.
Like parallels to this movie. It's weird because they're so different and they have nothing to do with each other.
Nothing.
But they have...
Besides, like, an old lady and poop.
And the rapping and the... Like, it just, like, there's so many weird similarities for movies that have they don't have a similar direction style other than found footage.
Right.
No similar story. Like, just these characters that just kind of make these, like, cinematic parallels.
Yeah, and I absolutely put that...
And I liked Dash Cam, but I love The Visit.
Yeah, I put those together not on purpose in that way. I think it was subconsciously. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
Absolutely. And I'm so fucking happy about it. So glad we got to cover this. I've been wanting to cover it anyway because I've been wanting to talk about it. I want more people to go and watch it because I think it's so fucking worth it. But yeah, wow, what a good fucking movie. I have no idea what's next week. I haven't watched it yet. I want to say maybe Unfriended is next, or maybe Deadstream.
Maybe Dead. I don't remember.
I can't remember, but we've got a few more weeks of this, of course, and I am absolutely fucking loving it this far. I hope you all are too. So yeah, in the meantime, though, make sure you follow and like the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow the Twitter and the Instagram and the TikTok at Barely Living Dreadful, Twitter at Living Dreadful. If you want to email us with comments, questions, concerns, or requests, we are at barelylivingdreadful@gmail.com. And until next week,
stay spooky. Bye.
And we can't help that we want to be
titty smothered.
We love you, Ashley.